Hey y'all, welcome back to another week of cleaning motivation with me, Courtney Anderson, and this is Everyday Anderson, where I talk about cooking, cleaning, and building our family. This week I am getting into this kitchen because I have not been in here in so long. It's been a few weeks to really deep clean the kitchen and the counters and just get the stuff that we don't get with our everyday cleaning. And I'm also going to share 2 dinner motivation ideas, 2 easy dinners that I made this week. And also on day 2, I'm going to get in and do the master suite. I'm going to do the bedroom, and I'm also going to clean our lounge area and do some laundry. So loads of motivation in this video. I'm going to get started in this kitchen today. So come along as I get it all done, and I hope you get a lot of motivation from this video. To go on together. If this is your first time here, then welcome. If you've been here before, then welcome back. I'm Courtney Anderson, and I am a wife and mom of 3. I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys, and my daughter is the youngest, and I have a husband, Eric. And so we stay really busy around here. I am a working mom. I am an entrepreneur, so I have a lot going on, and fortunately, I'm able to work from home, but I don't get a lot done on the days that I'm working, and so I have to do a lot of it either after hours, on the weekend, something like that. But I really try to stay organized, and that's the key to getting it all done. And so Eric is a truck driver, and so he helps me out a lot with the kids around the house. And my oldest boys are 9 and 11, so they do a lot around the house. And my kids clean up the kitchen throughout the week, and we've really showed them how to take responsibility for helping out and contributing to the household, but they really don't do the deep cleaning that I do. And so I have to come in and do it at least once a week to get the counters and the stove kind of cleaned off. And so that's what I'm doing today. Today was after breakfast, and so I'm going to be doing a lot more this day than I normally do because Eric usually does the breakfast on Sunday, and I'll come in and do the dinner. But this week I was feeling motivated to cook them breakfast, and so I cooked grits, I think bacon and eggs, and I showed you guys how I do the bacon in the baking sheet on parchment paper so that I don't mess up my actual baking tray. But I cooked breakfast this day, and I also wanted to cook dinner, and I'm also making bread with dinner, homemade bread, and I wanted to do like a peasant bread I've been seeing online for some reason, because I usually do like milky buttery rolls, but the peasant bread uses the yeast and water instead of milk. And so I was kind of in the mood for that, like restaurant style bread. And so I'll be showing you guys how that comes out a little bit later. But right now I'm going to get in here and do these dishes. And so I will be doing a couple of loads today. And again, that's unusual because the kids really do step in and help a lot. But today I'm feeling motivated, and so let's get it all done. Better let myself give in to love, believe in us no matter what it does to my heart. Not used to this, no I'm not. It was like if we were to waste these moments, the light. So like I said earlier, staying organized is one of the key things to running a household. In my opinion, you have to run it kind of like a business. And now that I am really digging deep into being an entrepreneur and doing some things on the side that I've been wanting to do for a while, I realized that running a household is running a business when it comes down to budgeting. I talked about that in my first video of the year about budgeting. Also organizing your time and your resources. You can't spend all of your time and all of your resources in one place. And so me doing the kitchen, the deep clean on the kitchen once a week is important, and I just kind of tidy up throughout the week. Planning out the groceries is important, and also just figuring out how much time you're going to spend on one particular task. Now, I will say that doing the kitchen this day took me a lot longer than I really expected, and so I'll know next time that I probably won't do breakfast and dinner, because also the kids come in and do lunch, and I like to do a traditional Sunday dinner, and so that's my thing. And so I'll let Eric stick to breakfast from now on. But even later on, when I do some laundry, I decided to treat that kind of like a power hour, where I just get in and just kind of knock it out really quickly, because if you keep coming back to do the same things every day, you never have time to do new things. And I like to do new things like DIY. I need to focus on my business. And so I just try to allocate a certain amount of time on a certain day to a particular task. And so I'm not one of those people that do laundry every day of the week. We all pretty much do our own laundry, and I'm doing Kelsey's laundry. And so I'll pick a day where I do my laundry, I'll do her laundry, or Eric will even do her laundry and I'll put it away like I'm doing today. And the boys know that when their laundry gets low, and they usually do like a Friday or a Sunday, they'll do their laundry, and then Eric does his own laundry on a certain day. But we all kind of have our days and our times allocated so that we're just not having clothes laying around all week long, because when we wash clothes, I really like for the clothes to be put away as soon as possible. Sometimes they do linger on because things happen, but you know, I can't really have a lot of things linger. It just clutters my mind. And so when I start something, I want to finish it and be done with it. And so that's my tip for anyone trying to get together or get organized with cleaning, is to set days and times for what you're going to do. And once it's over, just let it be done and don't come back to it until the next week or when you plan. Now I'm just showing you guys some stuff that I recently bought. I bought some containers for some homemade chicken broth, because I used to put them inside of those plastic bags that I just showed you, and I'm kind of tired of doing that now. So now I finally bought me some containers for my broth, and the dogs are eating broth too, and so I'm making them homemade bone broth. And also I finally got some of this pink stuff cleaner that I'll be showing you later on. And then I bought some mold and mildew cleaner for the bathroom that's supposed to help brighten up the tile and the grout lines. And so I actually did an Instagram reel on that recently, and if you want to see how that came out, or even some of my favorite BuzzFeed cleaning items, make sure you check me out on Instagram. It was so much fun doing some of those videos.
Never coming down, I'm never coming down, never coming down. I never built the wall to shut it all out, but now it's even made of concrete. This particle life, this particle life, what a time to be alive. Lately, I've been dancing on my own so bravely, steady steps on the ground. Hate me, but I ain't never coming down.
And so now I finally got some of this pink stuff I've been seeing everybody on social media using. This was my very first time using it or even looking at it. So I put on a glove to spread it around. I didn't know how it was going to affect my skin. Sometimes cleaning products just make your skin feel really stripped and dry and soft and just kind of weird and like slimy, so I didn't know. But also I thought this was going to be more like the Mrs. Meyer's baking soda cleanser, where it's has a little bit more of a texture to it. This was really soft and smooth, and so I put a little too much on here, and I used the Scrub Mommy because I love how it's a little bit softer. On one side it has a soft sponge and then kind of a softer scrub on the other side compared to the Scrub Daddy. And so I went in with a cloth and just wiped it up, and so I liked it. It was okay. I would use it again, but it wasn't something that was just completely new. I mean, I feel like I can achieve this with several of my other products like the Mrs. Meyer's or even the BarKeepers Friend, but I'll continue to use it on different surfaces and see, you know, how I like it. But for the first experience, it was good. And so I've been trying out some new products lately just to kind of keep my eye keen on things that are out there that might be helping ease my cleaning life a little bit. But so far I've only found one, and that was that mold and mildew cleaner that brightened up the shower. And again, that's on my Instagram page. But between the rest of the products I've been trying lately, they've just been kind of giving me the same as some of my favorite products. So I'll use them up because I've already bought them, but I don't know if I'll keep buying them. But I do have some other things planned for this pink stuff, and we'll see how that goes.
We used to be the team people talk about, what a chemistry. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb, while we enemies. No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly what it means and how it hurts. Oh, I can't believe you're here.
Another thing that I purchased recently is this butter pail that I saw on social media. It's so cute. So you just put some fresh butter in here. It has to be real butter, and just a little bit of water at the bottom of the basin, just like a tablespoon, and it helps to keep it fresh. And so now we have fresh butter anytime we need it. So we kind of put it in grits, on bread, on toast, and it's so yummy. And I love butter. If you guys watch any of my cooking videos, I really like to cook with butter, and so this is going to be a nice addition to our household. I'm really enjoying having this, and so it's really exciting. I've seen people do this kind of back in the day, but I really didn't think about doing it until I saw it on social media, and so it's really cute. And so now my bread is rising. I started this morning, and it did dry out just a little bit because I didn't have my cloth on top wet, but I'll be kind of rolling this out and working with that in just a little bit, and at the kind of middle of the video I'll show you guys how this came out.
I wanna get so numb while we enemies. No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly what it means and how it hurts. Oh, I can't believe you're here. Can't get any words. No. I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe, 'cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power.
I was so excited to get in here and finally make time to kind of deep clean this kitchen, because Eric and I actually went to Las Vegas for my birthday and we enjoyed our time there. But because of that, we were behind, just kind of the jet lag, not wanting to get back into the real world, and also needing to unpack and unwind. So I really have not been in here cleaning off the counters and all of this for about 3 weeks. So it was definitely overdue.
Close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me, but now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. I can't believe you're here. Can't get any words. No. A million people in the crowd, but I only see your face in all the lights. And as the bass keep pounding on me, baby, I really wanna make you mine. I don't really care about love.
So now I'm going to get in here and get this bread together. This is my second and final rise before it goes into the oven. And so instead of cleaning off the island with a deep clean with some chemicals, I'm going to wipe it down with some alcohol and just some water and come back in with the flour and the dough. And now this dough was a little bit dry. I think it's because I used the wheat flour instead of all white flour. It's white and wheat for this recipe, and I got this recipe off of YouTube. I like to try new things out, and it was a pretty okay recipe, and so I thought it was pretty simple and I could try it. But I did have to pick out some dry pieces on my dough. I probably should have oiled this dough as opposed to flour it, which I usually don't have a problem with my dough being too dry, but I'll know in the future if I make this bread again that it probably needs a little bit more moisture than I was giving it to rise. So I'm just rolling it out a couple of times, and I'll sit it back to let it rise again so that I can bake it in time for dinner. So if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you've probably picked up on the fact that I am a country girl that likes to kind of stick to some traditional kind of traditions and practices, and one of those is Sunday dinner. Really, it's Sunday breakfast and Sunday dinner, but Eric tends to get in here and do more of the Sunday breakfast. But I really like to cook for my family. I'm always trying to find ways to save time, to save money. I mean, that's just what we do as parents. But one thing that I really can't get away from is making homemade meals. I do cut back on how many homemade meals that I'm making to save time, but I have to get in here throughout the week and make some homemade nutritious food for my family. And I always find that it's a little bit cheaper to do it at home, and I know what I'm eating compared to buying a lot of processed foods. So when I look at my refrigerator, a lot of times I don't see a lot of food, and even people will comment like, oh, you don't have anything to eat. And I always remind myself and other people that I have ingredients. I don't really have food. And so I buy food and I make a lot. I buy ingredients and I make a lot of food from scratch. But I am going to try out a couple of different things this week, and I'll show you guys what one of those is going to be. But now it's time for me to get in here and do the refrigerator, because again, we were gone out of town and a lot of the food in here has spoiled and gone bad, and this is a good time to just get it all cleaned out and wipe the shelves down while I'm at it. I am not going to be doing the condiments on the door shelves, but I am going to be doing the main middle part of the refrigerator and getting that all cleaned up.
Yeah, gotta put on my favorite song. I need a boost. Let's turn up the love. No, it is way too late, but I just can't get my eyes off you. Maybe we will regret this, but tomorrow is another day, and I will do anything.
So I'm interested to know how many people out there really clean their refrigerator and their oven on a regular basis. So I clean my refrigerator out maybe every 2 or 3 months, and the oven, I really only clean it out about twice a year. When I think about it and I'm realistic with myself, it's probably only twice a year. So I'm interested to know how often other people out there actually clean these items, or any other things in your house that you see people cleaning routinely. Do you clean those routinely? I know years ago I heard someone talk about how often they wash their bed sheets, and it was nowhere near close to how often I wash my bed sheets. And so we all do things a little bit differently, and it also depends on your lifestyle. You know, how often are you sleeping in the bed, or how often are you actually using the refrigerator? So I'm interested to know how often other people clean things in their house. Leave me a comment and let me know how often you clean some of this stuff in your house.
So I will do anything, I will do anything to make you mine. Hey, won't you pour me another? I'm going in, so wish me good luck. Yeah, gotta put on my favorite song. I need a boost. Let's turn up the love, because it's on. Ooh, ooh, keep my fingers crossed. Oh yeah, it's on. Ooh, ooh.
Now the first load of dishes are done, and they are still wet. I don't put them on dry, it takes too long. And so I said that I was going to try that hack where you put the towel inside of the dishwasher for about 30 minutes and come back and the dishes are dry, and it didn't really work. It dried them a little bit, but it really didn't dry them all the way, so I still had to do some of that. And here is the refrigerator, and so I did come cook some of that ground beef I had earlier. So that's gone, but I got everything organized and rinsed and wiped down, and so I didn't do any products today. It was just a quick rinse and wipe down, and now I'm going to get ready for dinner. And so I am making shrimp etouffee for dinner. I was going to make crawfish etouffee, but when I went to Publix, they didn't have any of the crawfish tails, and so I was a little bit sad about that. And so I'll fix that another day. They really only have it for the holidays, but the shrimp etouffee is so simple, so easy. You can even buy the Trinity already cut up, the onion, celery, and bell pepper, and you can even get the colorful bell peppers cut up at Publix if you want to make this super simple. But I already have these ingredients in the house, but I do have the onions already cut up that I pre-bought from Publix that I didn't use for another recipe, and that would have made this super simple. But this recipe is so easy. I'm going to show you guys how I get it together. And now, since it's February, Valentine's Day is coming up, and I went downstairs and got some of our Valentine's Day items, just a cute little pink and red wreath that I put out every year. And also, I'm going to pull out some of the crafts that the kids and I did for Valentine's Day last year. I think it was. We were homeschooling. It was so much fun, and we did these crafts, and I said that I would save them. I got this from Target, and it came with the paint, the brushes, and everything, and we all picked a piece of wood to decorate, and one of them was a picture frame. And so I put it up for the kids to remember how much fun we had that year doing our homeschool and decorating the crafts. And so now I'm going to get back to dinner and deveining this shrimp. And this was well, actually it's peeling the shrimp, because this was already deveined, which I liked, and it made the shells come off really easy. So this was super quick, or you can buy the shrimp already peeled and deveined. And so this recipe is just starting off with the roux. And for my roux, I usually use the same amount of oil and flour. And so I'm doing half a cup of butter and then half a cup of flour. But because I want this etouffee to be a little bit thicker than it normally is, I added in a couple more tablespoons of flour. But that's usually my rule of thumb. And this is that shrimp stock that I pulled out earlier. And the butter browns really quickly, and I like that for a roux, but you don't want it to burn. And then go ahead and throw in your vegetables and your garlic and let that cook down for a few minutes before you throw in your liquid. And now I had homemade seafood stock and shrimp stock. Oh, and don't forget the green onions. But I had some homemade stock from the holidays, and I saved that in the freezer, and that's why I bought those containers, so that, you know, it can stay a little bit more airtight going forward. But you can buy vegetable stock or shrimp stock or seafood stock from the store. I went in with a can of red tomatoes, and I tried to pour off some of the liquid because I remember some of that liquid will add to the overall liquidity of the dish, and I didn't want it to be too thin because I've made my etouffee too thin in the past. And so I always save a little bit of my liquid towards the end, but it's a quart at the end of it all. It's 4 cups. And so I just saved a little bit to make sure it wasn't going to get too thin, but it wasn't. And so I poured it all in. And now this is going to cook down into a nice gravy. And then you just go in, add the shrimp, and that's all done. This is the simplest, easiest recipe, you guys. You can buy the shrimp, buy the crawfish tails, and it's just done. Now, the bread called for the Dutch oven to be heated up prior to throwing the bread in. It's supposed to give it a crispier texture, and I'll show you guys how that comes out. Now, I'm throwing in bay leaves. You can use thyme, and you don't have to use anything at all. And once this kind of is at the end of being done, you can flavor it the way you want, salt and pepper. Now, this is my dough, and it did stick a little bit compared to the recipe I saw on YouTube, but I'm going to work with it. This is going to cook for about 30 minutes, and I'm just going to kind of throw in here and reshape it as I go. And then after this goes in the oven, I'll show you guys how I make my easy, perfect, every time rice. I know some people have a hard time cooking rice, and I'll show you guys what my easy recipe is like. The key to making anything perfectly every time is to just kind of get a handle on your tools, your utensils, and including your oven and the way that your oven cooks and the temperature. And so I have a gas stove, but I have worked with an electric stove in the past. It's not my favorite, but I love working with my gas stove. And so the way that I do my rice is I rinse it in a pot of water or a tub of water. I just let it soak there for about 15 to 20 minutes. I don't do all day like some people. And I rinse it off, or I just dump the water off and go ahead and put it into a hot pan with oil. And this is a non-stick skillet that I like to use. And I fry it down for 1 minute, and then I pour the liquid on top, cover it with a top, and let it come to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, you cut it off completely. After 10 minutes, it's done. But because this is a perfect recipe for me, I can leave it there for 30 minutes and it won't get gummy. I do use basmati rice. That's one key thing that I do. And so basmati and jasmine rice cook very similarly. They're long grain rices, and so they don't get really gummy. The other thing is I use a rice cup, but you can do this with any type of measuring device. I use the rice cup says to put for every cup of rice, you add that amount plus half a cup of water. So I did 2 rice cups of water today, and that means I would need to go in with 3 cups of liquid. But you can use that even if you don't have a rice cup. If you're using a regular 1 cup measuring, just know that for every cup, you need to go back in with that much and half an amount of water. And use the method that I just told you. Boil it, and as soon as it comes to a boil, cut it off and let it sit, and it will be nice and fluffy and perfect every time. Now, as far as this bread goes, let me tell y'all, I was so excited to get it out of the oven. I took it out and I put it back in for another like 10 minutes. I wanted to get a little bit browner. But this is not my favorite Dutch oven. I will say that, or it could just be the recipe. But this one did stick. Now, this is a Pioneer Woman Dutch oven I've had for a few years before I bought my Le Creuset. And I wanted to make sure that I liked having a cast iron Dutch oven, and I did. So I went and bought some more expensive brands. But this is a really good Dutch oven. I like it for a lot of things, including my grits. You guys saw me struggling to clean it earlier. But this pot did stick. This recipe did stick. And so Eric and I were really struggling to get it out. We finally did, and there's some bread left there at the bottom, so we were kind of picking at it, and we ate it with some butter. The bread was good. I will say that it was good, but to me it reminded me of restaurant style bread, where it's like it's coming out, it's hot, and you eat it with the oil or the butter that they give you, but you know when it cools down the next day you probably won't want to reheat it. And so a lot of people online call this peasant bread because you don't use a lot of oils or fats in the bread. It's just water and yeast. And so it was really good for dinner. As you can see, it's piping hot. I should have let it rest a little bit more, but I just can't do that because I can't wait to dig into bread when I see it. And so it was good for the day, and I enjoyed it with the butter out of my Bell, the fresh room temperature butter. So that was all good. And here is my etouffee. I won't make this recipe a lot, but it was definitely good to have that day. And so because I've already cleaned up the kitchen and the dishes, and I didn't make too many dishes for dinner, everything was easy to just kind of pop back into the dishwasher. We had a lot of plates. That's it. And now I'm going to vacuum and mop. And so this day is almost done, but as you can see, it's nighttime, and I usually don't clean for this long on a Sunday. It's usually half a day after we eat breakfast and do our Bible study, but this was a busy day. I was one tired mama, and I was just too tired to even move the chairs out of the kitchen, but I kept finding something else to clean. And so I'm kind of chasing Scotty around. He follows me all over the house. He has a lot more freedom than the girls, and so we have 3 miniature schnauzers now, but the girls do spend a lot more time being in their playpen area compared to Scotty, because he doesn't have accidents really at all anymore. But this is my new cordless vacuum. It's a Shark pet stick, and I love it. And you just pop off the base, and now I'm ready to go around with my other attachments and do the baseboards. And this part of the week is the time where I can really get those baseboards. And so I've used up all my towels, and so of course that's going to be one of my laundry items for this week. But as I was doing that, I started seeing all these splotches and splatters all over the countertops, and I thought this would be a good time to just go in and get it clean. Even though I'm already tired and ready to go to bed, I was like, let me just do this, because this is going to be the one time this week. Otherwise, I'm going to look at it all week and regret that I didn't tackle it when I was cleaning up the kitchen. So let's do that piece.
Some strength. We're gonna go past forever. Tell me that you're ready. Tell me that you're ready. We're gonna go past forever. Keep us going steady. Like the sun kisses the clouds. It's game on. Racing pulse, we get along. Game on, stay strong. All I wanna do is sail into you. Help me paint the picture. Like the sun kisses the clouds. Keep us going steady. It's game on. Like the sun kisses the clouds. It's game on. Racing pulse, we get along.
And so finally, I am almost done. I'm going in with my steamer mop, this PurSteam mop that Eric got from Amazon that I'm still in love with. This thing, it just sanitizes the floor. You don't need any product. I do often use product with this. Some people would say that's a little bit unnecessary or redundant. I just like the smells of my products, but you don't have to. So tonight I'm just going in with that steamer and just letting it sanitize the floor, because the dogs are running around and they go in and outside. And so that's another reason why it's so important for me to come in here and clean throughout the week. And I like this when you just fill it up with water. It has a long life, so it doesn't die after just a few minutes. I get several mops out of this before I have to refill it. And I did want to show you guys this quick and easy garbage disposal cleaner that I get. It's made by, I think it's Glidden, and I get this from Publix, and I've done some Instagram reels on this. And so you stick it into your garbage disposal and run water and cut it on, and it cleans down deep. Now it doesn't clean the flaps, and I don't think that my flaps come off. I would like for the foam to come back on this side on the left, but that is where the main garbage disposal is. And when you look down, you can see that it's actually down there foaming inside, but it just doesn't come up like the right side. And I'm all out of my Mrs. Meyer's, so I'm using BarKeepers Friend because I like something abrasive inside of my stainless steel. I go in with some really hot water, and after that it just sparkles and shines. And so this is important to do this once a week too. So it's not just about doing the dishes, it's about really getting in here and sanitizing. And this is my final product. So excited, and I'm happy to report that it did last and stay clean for several days. So that's really important for me too. When I clean, I tell everybody like, hey, don't come in here and mess it up, because I worked really hard on this. And so I washed those steamer pads. I do that usually once a week as well. I didn't bleach them. I just washed them and let them dry overnight. And now it's time to get in here with some laundry motivation for you guys. And this is actually me doing the kitchen towels and the house towels. And I realized that the kitchen towels actually took up most of the dirty towels, which makes sense because I was completely out downstairs. And so I'm going to go in and wash these. And also I'm using this vinegar hack that I've been seeing online. I know that laundry sanitizers is the latest thing, and I know that, you know, some people say it should sanitize, but it's the same way with soap. The soap just really softens up the germs and makes them slide off, or helps them to slide off, but it doesn't actually sanitize unless you get antibacterial. And so some people are doing laundry sanitizer. I don't want to do that, but I can do vinegar, which is only a couple of dollars. And I noticed when I did the bedroom sheets, it did help the cleanliness. Kind of, it just seemed brighter. The smells came out. Like when Eric got into bed that night, he immediately said, did you wash the sheets? And so it really does kind of cleanse out the fabric and let the fabric softeners do its thing, or the laundry detergent do its thing. It kind of clarifies it a little bit, if that makes sense. And so because I spent so much time doing laundry or doing the kitchen the day before, and I went over my time budget, I know that today I'm going to stick to my time budget. I'm doing my clothes and Kelsey's clothes. And so her clothes were already washed. I just had to put them up. And so I'm treating this like a power hour. And sometimes when I'm in a power hour mode, I'm even kind of like running, like literally like just jogging through the house, trying to put everything up, because I know I only have a certain amount of time to do this. And I really did stick to my time budget today, which was only a couple of hours, and I got it all done.
I don't even know what to do right now, yeah. I'ma figure out what to do with all my time, my new life, yeah. I don't wanna try again.
And now I realized the reason why I had so much trash on the floors is because Scotty was coming in here and actually pulling things out of the laundry room. But I wanted to show you guys I still had 10 minutes left. I put my clothes away, and so me treating this like a power hour was really on track. And so all I have to do is come in and do this last load of towels after I do the kitchen towels. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get this bedroom tidied up, and it's not dirty. It's not like a lot of junk around. I'm still loving my winter decor. I did a recent video on that and helping the house just look and feel a lot warmer after Christmas when you take down all the Christmas decor. And so I'm just going to get this cleaned up really quickly.
I don't even know what to do right now, yeah. I'ma figure out what to do with all my time, my new life, yeah. I don't wanna try again.
And now I have to make note of the fact that there is a heating pad on the entire bed. I used to have a heating pad, a small rectangular one just on my side, and Eric actually bought me this heated blanket. I had one and it was a little smaller and stiffer, and he bought me this nice plush heated blanket pad that takes the place of my heating pad and my heating blanket, and also this gray plush blanket that I used to have. So it's kind of like 3-in-1 for me. But I always laugh because I'm putting it on the entire bed, and Eric hates to be hot when he sleeps, but there's something about this heating pad that makes him want to actually partake in it as well. And I'm always laughing and telling him that he only wants it because it's supposed to be mine, and now he's saying how relaxing it is on his feet, and he really enjoys it. But ladies, do your husbands do that? Or maybe do you do it to them? Just go and just kind of make something your own because you see your partner has it. And I'm like, Eric, you really don't like heat, but he just wants it because I have it, and so I'm putting it over the entire bed. So that's kind of funny. Now, as far as on the side of my bed, I wanted to show you guys that I do have a fire extinguisher, and we do talk to the kids about fire safety throughout the year, and we talk to them about fire escape plans. And so that's always important. Make sure you keep that in mind with your family. It's very important for me to have fire extinguishers throughout the house. We have several, and we talk to the kids about how to open the windows. And I'm showing you guys my earplugs, and I want to tell you about a couple of things that I do to help me get some really restful sleep. One of them is my earplugs, and the other one is an eye mask. And so everybody in the house now has an eye mask. Eric didn't have one, and Nasir was so thoughtful. My middle son, my middle child, he bought Eric one from the Reindeer Lanes for Christmas. They get to go pick out something for their parents, and he bought Eric an eye mask. And so now we all have one, and this is something else that can help you just get some really restful sleep. When Eric's home, it's the weekend, we're relaxing, we're sleeping in, I put my earbuds in, I put my eye mask on, and I relax. And my eye mask is weighted, and so that weight actually helps to calm the rapid eye motion, helps to calm my nerves a little bit, similar to the weight of a heated blanket on your feet or a weighted blanket on your feet. And I'm going to be folding my weighted blanket later, you guys. It's 15 pounds. I'm just blanket obsessed. But anyways, anything to just get extra rest and relaxation. And here it is. I got that one from Amazon, and so I really love having a weighted eye mask. Now I'm going to come in and do Kelsey's clothes. She doesn't have a lot, and she does tackle her clothes. She's only 7, and so she will tackle her clothes, but she doesn't do a really great job. And today I wanted to just go ahead and get it done, and so we'll get back to her doing it herself a little bit later. But today I need to just get this knocked out and done. Alright, so this is day 2. I got those kitchen towels put away, and now today I'm going to be making some homemade broccoli and cheese soup, and this is going to be inspired by Panera Bread. So once again, I'm going in and I'm making a roux. This is going to be a blonde roux or blonde gravy, and I'm putting in my butter. So half a cup of butter again, half a cup of flour. Start cooking that down and throw in some onions. Don't worry if it's not silky smooth, as long as you're cooking the flour raw taste off, it's okay. I put a little oil in there to smooth it out a little bit, but it will be great, I promise you. At this point, you can put in some chicken base that I have in the refrigerator for beef, but I didn't have any for chicken. And actually I made this again the same week, and I used the chicken that time. But if you have that, add it in now. If not, just go in with some chicken broth. I'm using a full quart of chicken broth, and let that kind of come to a simmer and start to thicken up. And then I'm improvising a lot of this, but you can adjust it to how you like your creams or what type of creams you like, dairy, non-dairy. I went in with a cup of half and half, and now I'm going to go in with 1/3 of this package of carrots because I want this to start cooking down. Now I did do my half and half in the beginning and not the milk, because I wanted to see how thick it was going to be before I started adding in the milk, and I wanted this to be a soup, you know, broccoli and cheese soup. I didn't want it to be too watery like a liquid. So let's go in with that broccoli. I cut the florets off, and this is fresh broccoli, but you can use frozen, but keep in mind frozen will add to the liquid profile and make it a little bit thinner. And so at this point, when it's cooking down after about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm coming in with some milk just to see how thin I want it to be. And I wound up using about a cup and a half of milk, and then just go in with your favorite cheeses, season it up the way you want it, and this is going to be delicious, you guys. This is so simple and easy. It's so easy to cook at home for your family in no time if you have your ingredients ahead of time. You can buy the cut up onions from the store. You can buy the cut up broccoli already. This just came together so super easy, and like I said, Eric was so in love with this, so I made it again later on in the week because I had some broccoli left. Now I am trying this, and to save time today, I'm trying this with some chicken that's already been pre-made, so some kind of processed chicken. I'm using this Bear chicken bites that I see so many people getting from Costco. I don't shop at Costco a whole lot, but I saw them at Publix, and I took the opportunity to get them. I would normally make my chicken homemade at home, but I'm trying to find ways to save time and conserve resources, and so I will say that that chicken was really good. And we also had the chicken strips later on in the week when I made it again. I bought the strips because it's, I guess, in high demand, so Publix had run out and they only had the strips. I like the strips a little bit better. The nuggets can have some gristly pieces, and once I bite down into some of those gristly pieces, I'm kind of done. But the strips were really delicious, and so it did help me save time throughout the week. It was kind of a partial homemade, partial store-bought meal, and so that did save me some time this day so I can get the cleaning out of the way.
Nowhere. They keep saying I'll be fine, but how you know that I'll be there when it feels like I'm lying every time someone asks how it goes, and I save the details that actually mean something. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. Don't.
Now I'm downstairs just trying to get this just tidied up and vacuumed up. Really, there wasn't a lot to do down here except for just pick up some stuff from us taking the dogs outside, and it's been raining, and just getting these shoes that the kids were letting dry out just put back up and everything put in its place. I'm also going to be organizing some things inside of the library because I realized I've been letting some things go just because we were out of town, and we got a lot of things put away after Christmas, but I didn't realize how disheveled I had left some things in there. And so I'm cleaning up the dining area first, and then I'll go into the library. This is the setup that I had for Christmas, and I did the electric blue and gold so that I could leave it up after Christmas. Usually I do it specifically just strictly Christmas theme, but when I do this one, I can leave it up for the winter as well. And so I'm just tidying up and getting these boxes out of the way. All the kids got Chromebooks from their grandparents for Christmas, and so some of this stuff is just like the boxes laying around, trying to figure out where they're going to be charging these, and you know, where they will be housed or staying the rest of the time they have them. And so we've picked the dining room for right now, but I'll probably find a better place and also get some of the gold pieces that I bought for Christmas kind of spread out and a little more organized, because I had so much more decoration and decor in here for Christmas. And so I'm just kind of piecing things together and trying to get it to make sense before I come back in for my spring cleaning. I'm not doing too much because I know spring is right around the corner, especially in Georgia. It gets warm really quickly, and it just doesn't stop really. So it's really rare that we have cold winters. And so I know that I'm going to be decorating for spring pretty shortly, but I have loved my blue and gold. I can't say enough about it. One thing I love about doing social media and doing these videos is I get a chance to go back and edit and look at things. And while it's so easy to point out the negative things, it's also really important to point out the positive things. And for example, when I'm looking at this table, I think to myself, oh my God, we didn't get a chance to go back and get that bigger table. We actually saw it at Home Goods and really wanted it. We came home to measure and went back and it was all gone. And so now I'm a little bit pouty about it. Like, oh, I didn't get the foyer table I wanted. But when I go back and look at these videos, it helps me to realize that we have done so much in this house and accomplished so much that we wanted to do coming into this house compared to our last house. And it just reminds me to be grateful for the things that we have. And that's why I clean the way that I do and organize the way that I do, because I want to show pride in everything that I've worked hard for. And I'm so glad that you guys are able to join me and just have a part and take part in this with me as I go through this journey of life. I'm so glad that you're here. Make sure you check me out for my future videos and follow me on Instagram. Until next time. Mwah.